For today, to graph a line from slope-intercept, point slope, or standard form. For today, we'll probably get through slope-intercept and standard form. May have to wait till tomorrow for point slope. Here's the first example. The first example is y equals 2x minus 3. Now this is slope-intercept form. This is the slope, and that's rise over run. And then on the back end, with the sign in front of it, is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where it's going to cross the y-axis. The slope, you're going to go from the y-intercept and either go up or down, and then to the right. This is just a 2, but it's the same as saying 2 over 1. So you would go up 2 and to the right 1. And I'll show you what we're doing on the next page. There is your y-intercept. The y-intercept was minus 3, so you have to go down the y-axis and make a dot on minus 3. Now once you do that, you have to use the slope. Remember, the slope was 2, which is the same thing as 2 over 1. When you put the slope in, it looks like this. You start from the y-intercept, you go up 2, since it was positive, you go up. Go up 2, and if you just have 2 and nothing underneath of it except for the 1, you go to the right 1. From the y-intercept, which was negative 3, here, then we go up 2 and to the right 1. What you're going to do is connect the dots that are the slope and where you ended, or the y-intercept and where you ended. So it would go right through there. And here it is when you draw it through. Now I have a straight line function on the app here, but unfortunately it's rather difficult to use. So I had to do mine over and over until it got as straight as possible, instead of trying to do it here on the spot and you watching me doing it 5 times and erasing it. So you start with the y-intercept again, which was negative 3. The slope is 2, so you go up 2 to the right 1 and connect up those points. Your line must go all the way through the graph, and you must have arrows at either end of the line. So here are the things I'm looking for. I'm looking for the right y-intercept, the right slope, whether or not your line is straight, whether or not it goes all the way through the graph, and whether or not you have arrows on either end of the line. Example number 2. Y equals a negative 3x plus 1. Y equals a negative 3x plus 1. This is the y-intercept, 1. So you find 1 on the y-axis and make a dot. This is the slope, negative 3. Since it's negative, you're going to go down 3 and then to the right how many? 1. Yes. If there's no number underneath of it, you just go to the right 1. You're always going to go to the right. So there's the y-intercept. That is at positive 1. And then the slope was negative 3. So from that point, you count down 3 and then go to the right 1. And there it is. Down 3 and then to the right 1. You're connecting up this point and this point. The y-intercept, we went down 3 and then to the right 1, connect up this point and this point. When you do that, it should look like this. It goes through the graph. You don't want anything that looks like this. Now for today, you get some leeway on being straight because you had to make your own ruler. But you got to have the arrows. Just can't shorten it out like that. Also, don't have anything that looks like this. It's just a short line and no arrows. Now, if you have something like this, that's not going to count. You can do better than that, even with a paper ruler. Give this one a try. Y equals 5x plus 1. This is your y-intercept. It's at positive 1. If that's the right one. Yeah, positive 1. And your slope, you're going to go up. You're going to go up 5 and then to the right 1. and then draw the line through it. Practice number 2. Y equals a negative 4x plus 5. This is the y-intercept. It's at 5. And then with your slope, you'll go down 4 and to the right 1, and then draw the line. In this problem, it's written in standard form, and standard form is this: ax plus by equals c. But you have to convert that to slope-intercept form, which is what we just did. So to convert that to slope-intercept form, you have to shuffle this equation around and do some division. Step 1 is to move the x term over to the right side and then change the sign. Notice over here it's positive. When you move it over to the right, it becomes negative. Move the 3x to the right, change the sign. Now once you've moved that 3x over to the right and changed the sign, you must divide everything in here by 2. Divide everything by 2, which means that y is by itself now. Divide the negative 3 by 2 and divide the positive 6 by 2. And then lastly, simplify anything that can be reduced, like this 6 over 2. That reduces to 3. Now the negative 3 over 2 can stay that way. That'll be your slope. If you can't reduce it, just leave it as a fraction. I've made these standard form problems to work out to where you have an integer y-intercept. You're not going to have anything like a 3/2 where you have to go between 1 and 2. We're not going to do any of that yet. It's easier to where you have an integer y-intercept. You can have just about anything as a fraction over here for the slope and still do it. Alright, so it's y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. Here is your plus 3 y-intercept. The slope was negative 3/2, so we have to go down 3 from the y-intercept and then to the right 2. You're always going to go to the right. Down 3, to the right 2, and then draw the line. Example number 4. 4x minus 3y equals 9. What should I do first?
Move the 4x across the equals.
Yeah, move the 4x over. And when you do that, it becomes negative 4x. We moved 4x from here over to the right and changed the sign. Now what should I do next?
Take negative 3 divided by 3 on the right of the equals.
Divide everything by negative 3. So when I divide everything by negative 3, I have negative 4 over negative 3, and then 9 over negative 3. The negative 3 over here just canceled out. Now simplify. A negative over a negative, that's a positive. And then 9 over a negative 3, that reduces to a negative 3, which just becomes minus 3. 9 over negative 3 is negative 3, it just becomes minus 3. So here's what you have to graph. There's your y-intercept, minus 3, and then your slope is 4 over 3. There's the y-intercept at a negative 3, and the slope was 4 over 3, so you have to go up 4 and then over 3. So when I go up 4 and then over 3, I'm connecting this dot here with this one. Make the line go all the way through and put arrows at either end. Alright, so you move the 5x over, make it negative 5x. Divide everything by negative 2, and you're left with 5/2 x minus 5. Your y-intercept is the negative 5. The slope is 5 over 2, so you go up 5 to the right 2, and then draw the line. You're going to move the 3x to the right, change the sign, divide everything by 5, simplify the 15 over 5 to 3, so you're left with y equals negative 3/5 x plus 3. And there's your y-intercept at 3. The slope was down 3 to the right 5. There it is, and connect up the dots. This is what the graph should look like.